Messy hair again. Good grief. Don't even have a hat. Let me see if I can find one real quick. Hats don't even fit on my head anymore. This is ridiculous. Oh, I can't get this hair to fucking like just stay in place. It just keeps poofing out. I don't know. My hair wants to escape my head in so many ways. Oh, hello, Jaden. Welcome to my chat. Sorry for cursing there. So great news. I am doing really well with my petitions. My petitions to plant 1 million trees and plants in Los Angeles County in remembrance for what we've lost because of the Los Angeles fires. And it seems to be resonating with people. I've never seen a petition of mine ever take off like this. So that's amazing. I don't feel like I'm amazing right now. I feel like I'm just not at my best. Like nothing's ever going to be the way that I want it. But that's life. You know, it's constantly thinking to yourself that things never get better, but if you think that way all the time, then that's how that stays. So you have to think like things could get better. Hi, Clint. I am really, really happy because my petition for 1 million plants to be planted for remembrance of what we've gone through with this LA fire, it seems to be resonating with people. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that people feel this way at all. That somewhere there are people with hearts. I'm amazed that that happens. I'm not to say that it could never happen, but it's really refreshing to hear that people care about the environment, that people not only come to my chat like Melissa and Clint and Jaden, but also people who sign my petitions. It warms my heart to know that there are people who care, that see what's going on, and they want to make a difference. I've never felt so proud in my life. I do not feel proud of this messy hair that is going off in like 10 different directions. But I am proud that at the end of the month, when my power is dwindling, according to magic science, I can still do something truly magical during a new moon, basically. I don't even know what phase it is. Ugh. I haven't really been outside like I'm supposed to. I'm a witch, but I don't commune with nature. I don't commune with elements. I'm just not who I'm supposed to be in Los Angeles. I mean, I've never been so selfless in my entire life, but when you're so selfless that you think of others before you think of yourself, you forget yourself sometimes. And I think that's what I've done. So the following month, I'm going to spend more time celebrating myself, my accomplishments, and and really start treating myself again, because I love hanging out with all of my fans. And I did not know that you have a whole Gene Wilder thing. Which one? Bride of Frankenstein or Blazing Saddles? There's been a consensus. It's a hard word for me right now. I still have these headaches from the concussion that I received from that hate crime in this neighborhood. And I mean, normally I have nightmares to begin with because of my PTSD from military sexual trauma. But now it's the headaches, and the headaches, just fuel my rage. And this morning, early in the morning, I'm trying to sleep, but I started raging out because we have so many resources. We've never been better with AI. We've never, perfected technology in solar panels yet, but we're so close. And yet we do all of that for Earth. We don't do that for Mars. That planet is just sitting there. It's how I feel about America, really. People keep saying, oh, I can't find an apartment, or, oh, I couldn't find a parking spot. And I stare at people who say things like that. I stare at them because America really is a parking lot to people. It's a place for you to get your food delivered, get your items delivered to you. It's not a place that you live. It's not a place that you really consider home. It's just a place to park your car. I don't know if I can agree with that. I think I'm more of the mindset of find your home, find your space that's just you. And I think that's what I'm going to be going through. This may be my last month here in this room. I have 2 to 3 days left, and then I have to find a shelter, and that's not ideal, but it's better than being abused all the time. It's better than having to say that I have to compromise who I am inside in order to not be beat up. So I don't know. On Friday, I was going to do a podcast, but I heard that there's a party going on in Los Angeles. So as much as I have PTSD, and as much as every time I try to do anything like go outside, it just turns into misery. I'm not going to have a Friday podcast. I'm going to go to an industry event, talk to fellow artists. Hi, Luke. Hi. Normally I do, this is what you get when you subscribe to my channel. Sometimes, there are other issues going on. Namely that I'm a disabled American veteran and I should have my benefits by now. I should have my benefits because every doctor I've spoken to says I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. If I had my benefits, then it would have been, I could spend my time doing other things, but I could also spend my time just singing on YouTube if I felt like it. I didn't have to think, okay, starting Saturday, I'm going to be homeless. Why should a veteran in America have to think that way? So I have my petition, it's in the description. I'm looking for people to sign my petition to be elected mayor of Los Angeles. Not because I really want the job, but because I just don't like the leadership that people keep choosing. If they chose me, at least you'd have something different. And thank you for saying that I'm amazing, even though I'm not singing right now. I was on Threads and someone was talking about, like, can you be yourself with your fans? Can you engage with them at all? You know, do you have to be perfect? And you know what? I told that person, and I'll say it to everyone here, nobody's perfect. And it's the attempt at being perfect that people appreciate. But when you're not perfect, you have to understand that that is okay. Let your fans see you as a mess. Let people see you as you are. Feel your feelings. Don't bottle your feelings up inside, because when you do, you explode. Because what else are you going to do? It's so much pressure. And this industry of music and performing and being a YouTube streamer, it's extremely it's extremely addictive, and it's isolating, it's lonely, but it doesn't have to be. When you are your authentic self, people notice that. They respect that, because when you're a mess, they say, hey, I'm a mess like you too. You're more relatable. And I'm not trying to convince you to like me. I hope you like me because you see a little bit of yourself in me. I have to say rugby for several reasons. Woo. I recently took a look at... Hello again. That was odd. I don't know what happened there. YouTube is saying, dude, you're so depressing right now. How am I supposed to feel? I'm a veteran who served my country. I'm not asking for more than what I deserve. I deserve to have a house. I deserve to be able to see a medical doctor who can help me, so I can, I don't know, maybe meet my future girlfriend or wife or surrogate, so I can maybe raise a family of my own. Like, there's no reason for me not to get on with my life, except for the fact that I'm not receiving the help that I need. And LA is trying its hardest to just shove stuff at me until I just say, I don't care anymore. And that's rude. That's rude. It's like, you don't understand what I went through. You don't understand what I've been through and what I'm going through right now. So I know YouTube wants everyone to be happy and smiley, but that's not reality. I mean, reality is, it's tough. I'm going to read what you said, Clint. Get back to that. I've said this before, but I'll go ahead and say it again. We cannot live without the fire, for we are iron, and we cannot be tempered into steel without going through struggle. I agree with you. Clint, you speak on something that I'm dealing with right now as a musician. As a musician, I make music, I make art. I'm not saying my art is for everyone, but I like my art and I want to market my art to the best of my ability. How can I do that when I can't afford to do laundry? How can I do that when every time I have to go outside, unlike massive celebrities, I have to ride public transportation with a bunch of junkies. And so does everybody else. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say, you're a star. You're definitely going to be a star someday. And then also say, okay, well, you're very disabled and you don't have the ability that stars do to hire designers, hire security, and have a private space to yourself, which no star has. Stars have mansions aren't private spaces. People will tell you that. It's just not that. I clean up nicely. I really do. I know that I'm beautiful on the inside, and I guess that's what has to matter to me more. And as frustrated as I am to even talk about that, I mean, Clint, I understand what you're saying, but maybe I don't want to be a diamond. Maybe I just want to be something else, stardust. Maybe I just want to be an explorer. This American government, this California situation is trying to push me and push me and push me to either I become a star or a politician. And I don't want to be either. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be that type of person who says, cell phones, what the fuck are those? Not that I don't know what they are, it's why would you even use them when you have free flowing data in a stream that you don't need a case for? That level of technology that I'm reaching for is so much higher than do I go with Apple or do I go with Samsung? This stupid game. And I say that as a person who's using an Apple iPhone to do a broadcast, but I don't want to use your products. I might do a sponsorship with you at some point, but deep down, I have to say, I would rather compete. I would rather compete against Apple. I would rather compete against these companies, rather compete against NASA. But how can I do that when I don't have my benefits? I'm supposed to be a Nobel Prize winner, but how can I be a Nobel Prize winner if I don't have anything to show for it? I have theorem, and my theorems are proven, but I can't do anything without my benefits because I'm stuck here in this stupid neighborhood where every time I go outside, I'm abused. And I'm sick and tired of it, which is why, even though LACTA would gladly just pay for another month, they would. I have to say no, because you're paying for another month of abuse. You're paying for another month of jump scares and shenanigans on public transportation. I live in Los Angeles. I know that there are other transportation systems besides the LA Metro. I've ridden on like the Culver City line. That Culver City line was so nice. It was a female driver and she was so nice, so courteous, didn't yak my ear off. She just concentrated on the road and took me to my destination. And by the way, I was the only one practically on that bus. How comfortable is that? It's not this giant Pac-Man thing that seems to be going on of just chasing after something or either that or being chased. I came to Los Angeles because I wanted to take a break, heal, maybe connect with people. And this city is trying to connect me to the wrong people. Hollywood is the wrong people. And I know I just did a petition to be Miles Morales. I can I can be contradictory if I want. But even going into that, I'm still saying that no, I don't really want to be one of those Hollywood people who cannot relate. Because Hollywood people, they take on causes and they spout off poetry. They use like repost in order to say something but not really anything, because it's hard to make a stand when you're afraid that the industry will blackball you, that they will exclude you from your next big project. I hate that. And I understand, that that happens to musicians too. And I'm a musician, but I run my own label. I publish my own songs through a distributor or two. And that's that's it, I'm not successful, but I own the rights to my music, except for the covers, obviously. I like that. I like saying that this is mine. I like having a life to myself. I appreciate having fans. I appreciate people checking in and, telling me about what's going on in their lives, but there's so much more going on. The environment it's important. The fact that our space program isn't going to Mars right now. Not right now. That's further down, further down. Oh, not you, not you. Other people. These people, only these people. Who decides that? Why do we always live in a country where it's everyone else is successful except for us? It's because we say that other people are better than us, and we believe it every time. Every time, we celebrate celebrities, but we don't celebrate ourselves. We don't cherish every single victory that we have and laugh over the failures that we do. I mean, I started the podcast today fussing over my hair as if any of my fans, true fans, would even care. I've had maybe one heckler that said something rude about my appearance. The rest of people have been so cruel, but when you stick a camera in someone's face, it's hard. It's very, very hard. I understand why people fall out of the music industry and, why some of them truly fall out of life. Thread with all of its. I keep talking about Thread because it's so new and it's so instant and it's like really good at connecting people. Either way. It pops things up because it's not a real platform. Like a real platform would just organically, say, look, what are you interested in? What's going on here? Hi, Tammy. But Threads, on the other hand, Threads is more of a here's what we would like you to see, and then here it is in your face. And I don't talk about this in detail. I talked about it with the whole Liam Payne law that they're trying to enact of having musicians with at least some medical staff so they could have a safe space to decompress and tell them that they need rest. Because musicians are hard workers, even harder than most people realize, because when you are your own boss, when you take responsibility for yourself and the careers that expand around you, because no one is a musician by themselves. People say that, but they have to thank people for a reason. They have help. But Threads shoved in my face, suicide prevention, and look, it could have been random. I'm not going to take it as random. I'm going to take it as, that's something you should talk about. You should talk about how musicians disappear from our world. Musicians burn out because it is so much to try and please everyone all the time, and to be in that mode of selfless and always happy. And I keep going back to my favorite person on Facebook. I love every single one of his videos. His videos are so upbeat and uplifting. And he always smiles, always. But then I also say, why don't I ever see you sad? Is your life so fantastic that nothing ever gets you down? Because if it truly is that way, I don't think you share that with people. So I know that, Luke was saying, could you just sing a song? And it's not that easy. It's not that easy to feel like singing. I might sing later, but it's not that easy to feel like singing when you have to focus on other things. You have to focus on, where am I going to get food from? I can't starve, so I have to get food from somewhere. And where am I going to cook? Because if I can't cook the food, then that changes the food that I can buy for myself. Oh, hello. I'm going to go through some stuff here. Of course, hello again to Tammy. My friend, you're right. I see you becoming more of an environmental hero than I do anything else. Brother, I hope you make mayor. Thank you. I appreciate that, Clint. I hope so too, because America, every 4 years, just hits a button and then says reset. That's it. Reset. It doesn't matter who's in office. They just keep pressing the button. I recently did a critical analysis of the Matrix, and I got to bring that up again. Just this idea that they were stuck in 1999 and they didn't realize it. That's how I feel. That's how I feel in Los Angeles. I see little things like robot delivery men, and I say, that's amazing. But you don't see it that often. You don't see that being the norm. You know what I keep seeing? I keep seeing cars. I keep seeing traffic. I keep seeing homelessness. I keep seeing people begging for food, begging for money. I have a Patreon in my description, and I highly encourage people, if you feel like you would rather see me sing more, be a bit more upbeat, I have to ask for assistance. I'm not going to beg my fans for it. I'm just going to say, if that is something you are interested in, instead of me constantly talking about how depressing my life is, that could be a start. And Clint is absolutely right. I am an environmental hero. I'm the type of person who has to make that happen. I have to plant a million trees and plants, not just in the forest that they burn down because Los Angeles doesn't care about anyone, even Los Angeles. And I just want to cry. I just want to cry because I don't understand why I came to a city that would burn itself to the ground and not care. They threw a charity event so that they could throw a party. They threw a party so that they could pay themselves. It had nothing to do with the LA fires. It was, and I promoted these charity events. But what does it do? What does it do? What is the point? I need to see real change here, real change, because every day that we just say somebody will take care of it, somebody will fix it, somebody will do something, is another day that somebody's suffering. Children are growing up with the worst air ever. And you wonder why your kids are irritable. You wonder why your kids are not getting the grades that they deserve. I mean, it could be a lot of issues, but I think it has to do with the environment. They're not outside, they're not breathing clean air, they're not exercising and filling their lungs with clean air to reach their developing brains. Oh, and to Kate and Mom9, hello, welcome to my podcast. I hate LA, love me anyway. This is Alive. No, man, I get sad. I just don't like to show it. I would rather smile the pain away than I would not to show people that side. That's who you are, Clint. I'm going to tell you this for your own good. Be yourself. People rag on me constantly for 4 decades. 4 decades I've had people rag on me because I didn't sound American enough, because I had an immigrant father, because I was different. And sure, it would be very easy to fake an American accent. Even I am American, but I could do that, but it's not who I am. They say acting is just pretending. And I'm not an actor. I'm just a really genuine person. To be honest, messes you up a lot and changes my moods. Good for you for helping your friend. I didn't even know that. Thank you, Clint. I'm sure your friend thanks you, and my thoughts go out to your friend, but thank you for being there for somebody else. But as I was saying, I'm telling you this for your own good. Just stop trying to be so happy. Stop trying to be so perfect. Because people who are perfect and happy all the time, they are miserable. I talk about that Facebook guy because I saw him do an advertisement for his music, and he's advertising his music. So I mean, his songs are always upbeat. He has to be upbeat, but he's out in the middle of the street, kicking his legs up, and just the grin on his face, and I just say, dude, are you okay? I mean, you got into this music business for whatever reason, and you obviously have a certain level of success. But are you happy? A lot of people in the industry, they talk about making it and, having their music everywhere and having fans. And it's not worth it if you just can't enjoy it. If you have to be this other person who, by the way, doesn't enjoy it either. I do want to move to Canada, but Canada is experiencing a blizzard right now. The temperatures are -20s, and I'm going to be moving there with very few clothes and not a lot of money. So I may have to stay in California for at least another month. But if I did, who knows what could happen? As I said at the beginning of my podcast, I am shocked that the petition I have to do a great event where we plant 1 million trees and plants throughout the city, and not just in the forest, but in offices, in homes, in schools and hospitals, in government buildings. I want people to see California the way that I do, which they may disagree, but I'm thinking with time they might appreciate. I think they might appreciate, if they had to go to something like the DMV and the DMV didn't suck, didn't just remind them of the fact that they're wasting almost an entire day inside, worried about license plates and whatever nonsense that goes on there. It's that level of ugly office design that keeps people disturbed, keeps people out of enjoying that experience. And I'm not saying you would enjoy going to the DMV, but does it have to be so terrible? Couldn't it be something that you were comfortable in? Couldn't the attitudes of people perhaps change if you had a nice big fern in the middle, providing oxygen, a nice peace lily in the corner there, get some ivy pothos to, intertwine in the rafters of that building? Now I've learned to be happy with the little bit that I have, and my family, I do have way more happiness than negativity. I appreciate people who think that way. I just have to reach for something higher. The money that I have right now, if I compared it to other countries, they would say, no, you're rich. You are rich. But I have to look at it as, well, for most people that would be enough, but I don't think like most people. I need to do more with my life. I need to get out there and plant that 1 million trees, and I have to stop these forest fires. Hopefully as mayor, but if not as mayor, I just have to fight it as an individual, because Mayor Karen Bass and Governor Gavin Newsom saw the fires that were going on and said, hey, fire department, send your lovely, able-bodied firemen who have families and lives and futures, and why don't you go face this forest fire? Good luck. That is the attitude that they have about California human life. And true, the fire department has been very rude to me. Very rude. I'm still going to support them and defend them against a bad faith agreement with the state of California. I don't think firefighters should fight forest fires. I think we should. I think it is our responsibility to do that. And it's my responsibility as a person who makes pretty noises with my mouth to also use that as an opportunity to have conversations with people who might be receptive to that kind of thing. And I'm all shy and just, I fumble my words, but I think you understand what I'm saying, that we have to appreciate how difficult it is when your job is firefighter and they say, go to the place where everything is on fire. Now, when that's a house or an office, that must be scary. That must be. But the sheer terror that you must experience when you see a forest aflame, when you see animals running towards you on fire, birds falling out of the sky, their wings incinerated, how much that must damage your psyche. Oh, and by the way, there's another fire, you have to go to that one too. And this is the attitude that this California leadership of Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass have. And Clint, that's what I'm talking about. You know, these men, women, you know, they're risking their lives and for what? When people think about fires, they always think about how the fires affect human settlements, how they affect, oh, hello there, Evan, how they affect your city, your town, your house, your family. They don't think about a fire in a forest, which is what we have quite often here. Because if you had to think of a fire in a forest, you have to think, well, the forests aren't empty. The forests have birds, they have animals, they have wildlife. And that wildlife doesn't have a fire department. It doesn't. So who's going to speak up for them? Who's going to do something? I have that petition for 1 million trees to be planted, and I have a petition for me to be a mayor. I also have a petition to send me to Caltech. And these things are taking off. So it's not hopeless. Somebody understands that it's important to change what we're doing, because what we're doing is endangering all of us. And it's ruining our health. I like what you're saying about, you know, living off a little and saying that's enough. But we don't live in areas by ourselves. We have to go through towns, we have to go through cities on occasion. And these areas are polluted. And because they may crisscross through your neck of the woods, they can actually pollute your area as well. And, you know, accidents happen. You know, I can't protect everything, but chemical spills in our area are a problem. And we don't think of it that way. We just say, oh, you know, that sucks for them. It could happen to anyone. So I keep talking about environmental issues over just being a singing robot. I'm glad that you do that. I'm glad that you do. I do that as well. I don't go that far. I just pretty much walk my dog to do what the dog does. and I still see litter. I still see, little bits of I made a poor decision of snack food, and I'm just going to throw it on the ground. I pick it up. I'm headed to the bin anyway. I might as well just carry one extra item. Stretch for like 2 seconds. But that attitude should be within anyone. Anyone who sees that. And if it's not within everyone, then let me help you as an engineer. Let me help you as a community leader and say, it has to be picked up. Let us pick it up. Or let me just cover the entire area in robots that can just do it for us. I want the future. I don't want to live in this because this is wrong. Every day that, we do these lives, I think to myself, when do we declare victory? Do I declare victory when I finally have my benefits? Do I declare victory when I go to Mars? Or do I declare victory when I finally see some change in this world for everyone? I consider that my milestone. A global intelligence, finally, where everyone agrees pollution is bad, litter is bad, blah, 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 blah. I'm glad I unburdened myself of that. Also, I couldn't really sing because my throat is so raw from singing live the day before. And I need to rest. And as I keep saying, musicians they don't rest. They feel the pull of sleep and they fight. And I fight because I have nightmares. So, yeah, don't really get enough rest. All right, I'm going to read what you said there, Clint. That's a huge reason why I wanted to create the Knights. I wanted to make sure that there was someone left to protect the world and take care of the planet. Good for you. Good for you. There are two types of people in the world, and I'll just say it. There's alpha, and then there's beta. And too many people they fall into that idea that a beta can never be an alpha, and that an alpha will never learn to follow. You can change. We do this whole idea of binary systems and teams and us versus them, when it could just be we're all right to a certain degree, and here's the solution that appeases everyone. I mean, we talk about AI and robots as if we don't already have that in our lives. We talk about the need to clean the environment as if we don't automatically do that more than we like. Even people who litter often, every once in a while they do get it right. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but could we at least try a little harder? For me, for Daddy, yeah. I want things to be better because, YouTube with this algorithm and whatnot, it stopped the broadcast so I could watch a 2-second clip of Charmed for the episode where Wyatt is saying, if my parents don't have sex by the end of the weekend, then I won't exist. And, it's a plot device, but when are we going to have that conversation? Not just about me, but about most people in my country and in every country, that we always put that to the side and say, oh, I'll have kids when I find the one. I'll have kids when I get the next promotion, or I'll have kids when we move to a bigger house. Just always in the future, always in the future. And you just never know. You never know if the kid you could have had sooner was going to be amazing too. I want to be a father. I mean, there's a reason why I call myself daddy. It's because I adopted this California state. But I do want to be a father to my own kids. But it's hard because I just don't want them to live in a country that is so broken. So broken that they didn't figure out pollution. I figured out pollution. I just don't see a lot of other people doing that. Change.org/clear LA smog. Hello there, Larry. Hello, hello, hello. I'm just a disabled veteran who does a podcast. I don't expect to change everyone's mind on issues like freeing their lives so that they could focus on things that really matter to them. I said in the earlier podcast that having liquid assets can open up doors for people. I'll say it again here for any of the new people. By reducing the cost for food, restaurants can buy more, and home chefs can buy more to cook their meals by themselves. But if they go to a restaurant, there could be a tax there that adds money back to the restaurant that they can spend on expanding the restaurant, because you really want the ability to hire more servers, hire more kitchen attendants, hiring more front of staff, head of house, changing the fonts on your menus, adding more ambience. There's a lot that goes into running a restaurant. Yes, chef. But the idea that most Americans can afford food, most Americans can afford to go to a restaurant, is a problem. It's a problem that most people are having coffee dates instead of having dates over food. It's a problem for our economy as well. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Jacob Kint. Welcome to my chat. Glad to have you here. I'm trying to be mayor so that I can increase the revenue for the state by saying something like, if you're a California veteran that lives in Los Angeles, we're going to pay you at the 100% rating that the VA normally would. It does two things. It, number one, allows the veteran enough capital to make some changes in their life, see a private care physician, make some lifestyle changes around their new disability. But two, it also invites more veterans to California. I'll say it. I think veterans are just better people sometimes. When you respect veterans and veterans respect themselves, they are vital members of society, vital members of the community, because they've gone through the worst that this country has, absolute worst. But on the other side of it, they have come out equipped and ready to lead, ready to set great examples for our next generation. And wouldn't you want those people in your town? I certainly would. And guess what? All of the money that they have could be going to California businesses. Veterans have to eat. Where are they going to eat if they live in California now? They're going to eat somewhere in California. So they're going to go to the movies in California. They'll get their car detailed in California. So you'll have more business here. And that's how you have to think about it. I think about this because I want to be mayor. If you want to fix the economy, you have to make the money flow. And these nasty people, they locked me out of my apartment. But, I had to spend my money. Oh, well, I had to eat. But because I spent my money, I also improved the businesses around me. I paid someone's wage. And that may seem like a boring thing, but that's how the world works. But it could work so much more efficiently if there was more money to spend. Which is why I want to have solar flotillas in the Pacific Ocean. I didn't say it in my last live, but I'll say it here. I am a trust buster because there has been a monopoly in this country for centuries between the power companies and us. We knew there was solar power. We knew that almost everything that we needed to do in life that we could do without electricity. But now that electricity is in our life, I'm not really going to go back to the dark ages. Neither will you. So what we will do in Los Angeles is put some solar flotillas off that coast in order to collect enough energy to power the entire county and send Edison and every single other company packing. No more bills. No more. No more electric bills. You want to pay a bill? Pay for your food at your restaurant. Tip your waitress. That's what you can do. That's your bill. That's your electric bill now. That makes a lot more sense than, sitting in your own house and you cook a meal by yourself for yourself. You're not even using that many appliances in order to cook most of your meals. You just use a microwave for some people. Why should you have to pay another company for power when there's a nuclear explosion in the sky? That thing that you call a sun is a controlled explosion that is still happening. Series of explosions. It just all the time. There's so much energy in that. So much. It could power not just the Earth, but the moon, Mars, and anywhere else we want to go, anywhere else, even outside this galaxy. That's how powerful the sun is once you use it correctly. Once you let a scientist like me finally build a solar array that could use that properly, get above 50%. But instead of that, just YouTube podcasts. Right, that makes sense. This is why I want to leave for another country. I'm not saying that that other country is going to, say, all right, your school's over there and, do what you want. But at the very least, they might listen when I say to the Ontario Clean Air Initiative, if you truly want to defeat nuclear power, you have to build a better solar array and then you have to sell it to people or just give it to them. I love the fact that these people are so dedicated to maintain their X account that they keep posting. I subscribed and I have alerts. So everything that the Ontario Clean Air Initiative, which is at ONCLEARAIR on X, I get every single message. But I also say, you're filling my inbox when you need to invent, you need to create. If you want to tell nuclear power plants to shut down and clear out your neighborhood, you've got to replace them with something now. Don't put that off. Don't say, oh, well, we finally did it, and then there's no power for the entire building. You have hospitals on grids, which is why I will not give up on California, because they need so much power that they have redundancies for any emergency, and that every building has so much power that they can handle what will come their way, because life is imperfect. There's always some sort of emergency going on. It's better to have more than less. So yes, I will bore every last one of my fans of my weird singing and misreading of lyrics with tales of a scientific future, or sorry, not a scientific future, a future focused on science, fringe science, if you will. But it's not that outlandish to say, hey, why don't you just stick a solar panel on the ocean where you have lots of surface area? There are things that are underneath it, but those things that are underneath it will eventually just move to the sides. And the flotilla itself could move too. Or it could be transparent. Let the light go through. I'm an engineer. I think of solutions to everything. And the solution to all our problems has always been the shift to solar energy. Free your wallets. Some of you have houses with 5 kids, 6 kids, guests that come over, everybody's plugging something into another outlet. That bill comes. Have you ever said to yourself, I'll get a solar panel? Or what if the grid was connected to a solar panel that was so powerful that it was free forever? Free forever. I'm not talking about a utopia, but maybe a little bit closer. Free electricity forever. Free internet forever. Break up these monopolies. And I'm talking about utilities, I'm talking about companies. These monopolies that we have of Apple versus Samsung. We need new technology to drive a wedge between them because it is not fair competition. It is not fair to consumers. I'm fighting this. I'm alone in this fight. But maybe not quite as alone as I thought, because my petitions are successful, more successful than ever. So we might actually get a California that I can be proud of, because right now I hate California. I hate LA. I've never hated a city more. This city has committed hate crimes against me. It has psychologically tortured me. I'm not a vindictive person. So instead of being a wild person, doing something outlandish, I'm just going to give them health. I'm just going to improve the city. That is a blight in my eyes. Improve it by asking the city very politely if I can just give it solar power. Asking the city, why don't I just start making some phone calls to local buildings and say, can I get you some more plants? I'm going to do this million plant tree thing with the people. I am patient, but California will learn to be better. It will learn to grow. Why? Because it needs to. Because you got caught with your fucking pants down when it came to the pandemic, because your lungs were so fucking rotten from having to live next to a fucking freeway, when that freeway is supposed to be miles away from your homes. You put that right outside your buildings and you breathe it in. You let your kids breathe it in. You let your dogs breathe that in. I'm a dog person. No offense to cats. By the way, Cats, the new song by Ian Iliana, is currently out everywhere. YouTube, it's even on Apple Music. Have a listen. California is a terrible state, but it will be the best one now. I guarantee it. This is Ian Iliana of I Hate LA, Love Me Anyway. Join me again at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for yet another podcast. Have a good day.